Hello students, good morning to all of you. Today I will continue the explanation of the story The Red Trap. You remember that when the Iron Master came to the forge, he saw the peddler in dark, and he mistook him for Nil Solo, one of his old regimental comrades. But the peddler did not disclose his real identity. He did not tell him that he was not a captain, but uh, a red trap seller, in the hope that he could get some money from the Iron Master. But the Iron Master invited him to his home, and but the peddler did refused to go with him because he was afraid that he would be caught because he had the stolen money in his pocket. But the Iron Master thought that he feels embarrassed. That is why he was not uh, willing to go to his home. He felt embarrassed because uh, he was wearing bad clothes, torn clothes. So the Iron Master tried to make him comfortable by saying that uh, his house was not so big, and he lived alone in his house with his daughter, and his wife was already dead, and his two sons were living abroad. And he requested him to go with him uh, to uh, to to go with him to celebrate Christmas with them. But uh, the peddler firmly refused to go with him. He declined his invitation again and again. So finally, the Iron Master had to give in. So we will start today from here on page number 37, uh, the middle para. It looks as though Captain von Stahl preferred to stay with you tonight, Sternstrom, he said to the master blacksmith, and turned on his heel. The Iron Master addressed the blacksmith and told him that perhaps the, the Captain von Stahl preferred to stay with him in the forge that night. He referred to the peddler as Captain von Stahl and turned on his wheel. Then he went away. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith who knew him understood very well that he had not said his last word. As the Iron Master went away, he laughed, and the blacksmith who was watching him understood what he meant. He understood that the Iron Master had not said his last word. It means the Iron Master was hiding something from him. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge. Only half an hour had passed when the people in the forge heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest arrived. But this time it was not the Iron Master. He had sent his daughter, apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he himself. Persuasion means convincing. Power of persuasion means power of convincing. This time the Iron Master had sent his daughter, thinking that his daughter would have better power of persuasion or better power of convincing than himself. Okay. Now the Iron Master's daughter came to the forge. She entered, followed by a valet, carrying on his arm a big fur coat. Iron Master's daughter entered the forge, and she was followed by her attendant, who was carrying a fur coat on his arm. She was not at all pretty, but seemed modest and quite shy. The iron master's daughter was not beautiful. She was modest, she was humble and quite shy. In the forge, everything was just as it had been earlier in the evening. When the iron master's daughter came, everything in the forge was the same as it had been earlier in the evening. The master blacksmith and his apprentice still sat on their bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. Uh, the iron master and his helper, his apprentice, were still sitting on the bench, and the iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his head pulled down over his eyes. And the peddler was lying on the floor, and he was keeping a pig iron, a piece of raw iron under his head, and he was covering his eyes with his head. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his head. The iron master's daughter went up to him and she lifted his head. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. The man was used to sleeping with one eye open. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. The peddler was clearly sleeping with his one eye open. And when the iron master's daughter lifted the head, he jumped up suddenly and seemed to be quite frightened. He looked quite frightened, quite shocked and afraid. "My name is Edla Wilmanson," said the young girl. "My father came home and said that you wanted to sleep here in the forest tonight." Edla, the iron master's daughter, introduced herself as Edla Wilmanson. Remember this name, Edla Wilmanson. She told the peddler that his father went home and told her that the peddler wanted to sleep in the forge that night. And then she asked his father's permission to go to the forge and take peddler to her home. "I am sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time." And then she expressed sorrow for the peddler for having such a hard time. Okay, so the iron master's daughter's name is Edla Wilmanson, and she told the peddler that her father had told her about peddler, that he wanted to stay that night in the forge. And then she took her father's permission to come to the forge and take the peddler with her. Then she expressed sorrow, and she addressed the peddler as captain, and she expressed her sorrow for him for having such a hard time. She looked at him compassionately, sympathetically. She looked at him with sympathy with her heavy eyes. And then she noticed that the man was afraid. Then she immediately noticed that the peddler, was afraid. Either he had stolen something or else he had escaped from jail. Then she concluded from his fright that either this man has stolen something or has escaped, has run away from jail. She thought and added quickly, "You may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve." And then she said quickly, she wanted to reassure the peddler and said, "You may be sure Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. She assured the peddler that he would be free to leave their house in the same way he came there. They would not stop him, they would not force him to stay in the house. Because here the daughter of the iron master, Edla, she understood that this man is afraid because he might have stolen somebody's money or escaped from jail. She understood that this is the reason she was not willing, this is the reason that the peddler was not willing to go to her house. That is why she assured her that is why she assured him that he would be free to leave her house anytime he wanted. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve. Then she politely requested him to stay over Christmas Eve, because the next day was Christmas Eve. She said, and Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve is the day before the Christmas Day. This is also an important day for Christians. She said this in such a friendly manner that the red trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. She told the peddler that he would be free to leave her house when he wanted. So the peddler felt she had said this in a very friendly manner, and she had said in such a friendly manner that the peddler must have felt confidence in her words. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss. Occur means to come to mind. It would never have occurred to me. The peddler told her that it would never have come to his mind that she would herself would come to the forge to take him. Bother means to worry or to care for. That she would herself come to the forge. Miss, he said, I will come at once. He got ready to go to the forge. The peddler got ready to go to the forge because he felt confidence in Edla Wilmanson's words when she told her that he would be free to leave their house, and she said that so politely, in such a friendly manner, that this is the reason the peddler felt confidence in her and he was willing to go with her. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his rags. You know that the valet had a fur coat with him. He accepted the fur coat and threw it over his rags. It means he wore the fur coat over his rags and followed the young lady out to the carriage. The carriage was parked outside the forge, and he went he followed the young lady up to the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. You know that when Edla herself came to the forge and invited the peddler to their house, the blacksmiths sitting there were very much surprised. They were greatly astonished. But the peddler did not grant him a glance, even a glance. The blacksmiths were highly surprised. They were astonished, and the peddler, before leaving, did not even look at them. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. Evil forebodings. Forebodings means feeling that this is a kind of feeling. Foreboding is a kind of feeling that something bad is going to happen. So while he was riding up to the manor house, the house of the iron master is called manor house, and while he was riding the forge and going to the manor house, on the way he was having some evil foreboding. It means that he was thinking that something bad was going to happen. Why the devil did I take the fellow's money? He thought. Now he was blaming himself for stealing that crofter's money. He thought, now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. The peddler now was cursing himself. He was blaming for stealing. He was blaming himself for stealing the crofter's money, and then he felt that he was sitting in the trap, and he would never get out of it. It means that he was now sure that he would be caught and be arrested. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. The next day was Christmas Eve, means the day before Christmas, and the ironmaster and his daughter Edla were sitting in the dining room for breakfast. While sitting there, the ironmaster thought he felt very satisfied of about his regimental friend, regimental comrade, whom he had run across so unexpectedly. He had come across, he had met his old regimental friend so unexpectedly in the forest. He had never expected that he would meet him, that he would ever meet his old regimental friend in this way. So it was quite unexpected, and he was feeling satisfied about his friend, about his comrade. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones, he said to his daughter. He was talking to his daughter, and he told her that since the peddler was so weak, he looked malnourished. So he told Edla that they must see to it, that they must make it sure that he gets to eat some good food, so that he gets some flesh on his bones, on his body. He said to his daughter, who was busy at the table. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. And the ironmaster was also planning for a better job for the peddler. She told Edla that they must see, that they must make it sure that the peddler gets a better job than going around the country selling rat traps. The ironmaster did not want the peddler to sell rat traps anymore. He wanted to find another job for him. It is queer. Queer means strange. It is queer that things have gone downhill with him as badly as that, said the daughter. But the daughter, Edla, was having some doubts about the peddler. She told the ironmaster that it is queer, it is so strange that things had gone downhill so badly, that the things with the peddler had gone downhill, had gone so bad. It is quite strange, it is quite surprising that the man who was once a captain, his conditions had become so bad. It was quite strange, said the daughter. Last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. Last night when Edla went to the forge and saw the reaction of the peddler when she lifted his head, she told the ironmaster that the last night he did not he did not see anything in the peddler which showed that he was once an educated person. Okay, because a captain must be an educated person. He did not look like an old captain. He did not look like an educated man last night when Edla visited him in the forge. You must have patience, my little girl, said the father. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. But the ironmaster did not agree with him. He told him that he told her to have some patience, to wait. And he told her that when the peddler gets clean and dressed up, he will look different. He will not look like an uneducated person. Last night he was naturally embarrassed. He tried to explain why last night the peddler behaved in that way. He looked so uneducated, he looked so afraid. He told her that last night he was naturally very embarrassed. Okay, he did not feel comfortable last night. The tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. The tramp manners, the behavior like a tramp. So he told Edla that when his tramp clothes, means when he changes his clothes, when he removes his tramp clothes, his torn clothes, and he wears new clothes, then he would look differently, and his tramp manners also will go away. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Okay, the peddler entered the room, the dining room. Yes, now he was truly clean and well dressed. Now, as the ironmaster told, that when he will be dressed up, he will look different. Now, he was very clean, and he was wearing a good suit, good dress. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair, and shaved him. The peddler had already bathed. He had cut his hair, and his face was shaved. Moreover, he was dressed in a good-looking suit of clothes which belonged to the ironmaster. The good-looking suit that the peddler was wearing belonged to the ironmaster. He wore a white shirt. Okay, he wore a white shirt and a starched collar and whole shoes. He wore white shirt and a starched collar. A starched collar, you know, starch. A starch is used to make the cloth crispy. He wore starched collar and whole shoes. Whole shoes means shoes that fitted his legs, his feet. Okay, so he was well dressed, and he was wearing white shirt and this starched collar and proper shoes. Okay. Now I think this is enough for today. Tomorrow we'll continue the explanation. Till then, thank you and goodbye.